Ghost is brewed with 150 pounds of grapefruit zest.
Yeah.
That's why it tastes the way it does. It's not
It's zesty.
Yeah.
It's a zesty grapefruit.
In each 30 BBL batch.
30 BBL?
Yeah, I don't know what a BBL is.
I don't know, but I got myself. Today's sponsor is Yeehaw.
Oh, not sponsored by them. I would like to be. But no, like early photo booths produced low quality tintype images that sparked imagination and started
so that's why it's a low quality beer.
Souvenir industry on hastily developed strips. Just picture yourself with a photo booth. Drink fresh.
So, okay, I get it. They're trying to capture the low quality of the original photo booth.
that awful drink. Or awful, but it's called Urban Artifact Photo Booth. All the drinks, I guess this the company is Urban Artifact.
I would think so. And then the drink is the photo booth.
I think the part's weird is it smells like a beer. As I'm getting close, I'm like,
and then you taste it.
And then you taste it, and that changes the smell and everything. Like, I think that's the problem. Is it smells like it's going to be a ale of some sort, and then you taste it, and like your mind is prepared for this taste.
But it's sour,
and it's
tangy,
not.
and bold. Wouldn't you agree with that?
It's definitely sour and bold.
It's very bold.
I would definitely give it bold. I don't know about tangy. Is battery acid tangy?
Yeah, I think that's the way you describe battery acid. It's pretty tangy.
Yeah, if battery acid's tangy, then yes.
Oh, yeah, I noticed you had a phone there. What you got pulled up?
Nothing. It's a black screen.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna pull off what I just did.
No. I actually.
I'm like, hey, here's this.
I actually didn't. I was watching What Is a Witcher.
I don't know.
And I haven't gotten there yet. The guy he talked about a lot of things before ever getting close to this.
Well, I will go ahead and say what the last news article I was reading was. Do you know
No, I don't.
Major? You know Major? The German Shepherd?
No.
Biden's dog, Major?
Oh, no. I didn't know he
He's
had
a
a
3-year-old
dog.
German Shepherd. He's had since 2018. It's bit 2 people.
What?
Yeah.
Why isn't that dog put down?
Well, yeah, why isn't the dog put down? You're right, that's a good question. But yeah, they moved him into the White House, and this was like...
He's biting people!
They moved him into the White House, and he bit a member of Secret Service. And so they were like, well, we're going to move him back to my home in, like, I think Delaware or whatever.
Yeah, wherever.
So they moved him back to Delaware. And then apparently the news article was that Major bit someone else while he was on a dog walk. And it was like, the thing is that it was news reporters were with him, like, on the dog walk or whatever, and I think one of them got bit. And it's like, this dog just bites people. And then the Biden quote was like, well, 85% of the people that meet him love him, and he just licks them and stuff. It's like, yeah, and there's 15%. And there's 15% he bites. Like,
85%
that's not
is
a good
like,
dog.
yeah! And then 15% of them are just getting bit.
Yeah, just getting bit.
Okay.
Apparently no warning signs, just getting bit.
He's just like, oh, it's a terrible dog at that point.
Yeah, that's all. That was the story I read. I just thought it was funny that Biden's dog has bit 2 people.
That's actually awful. Again, I go back to why hasn't it been put down?
Right?
Or why isn't he sued at this point because of that?
I thought the way that it worked is that if you got bit by a dog, you then had the choice on if the dog gets put down or not.
What's the responsibility that we're supposed to have as an animal owner, right? Like,
well, yeah, it's your responsibility to not have your dog bite someone. But remember, the law is different in different states. And like here, if you're in city limits, there's a leash law. But in county, I'm pretty sure there's not. And remember sometime last year when I was reading the paper and you were getting fed up with me for reading the paper on the show where I took the time to read an entire news article word for word.
Too long.
Remember, that was about the fact that there wasn't enough room in the pounds.
True. So dog biting someone.
Mm-hmm.
If your dog bites someone, in some states, law enforcement is authorized to remove your dog from your premises after it bites someone. He will be likely quarantined in a local shelter or a veterinarian's office. If your dog bites someone, whether on your property or not, you are liable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you're telling me Delaware and Washington, D.C., doesn't
They
have.
just don't care.
I believe that's not true.
Well, the thing is, the dog bit someone, and they're like, okay, well, we'll move him out of the White House back to his home. And they did that, and then apparently he bit someone else while they were walking him.
At his home.
Yeah,
So it's
like,
like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because
they
were just like, oh, it's probably because he's at a new location, new people, and I understand that.
Yeah,
and it's like, but then he went home, and it's like you clearly.
And he was startled by unfamiliar people, so he bit him.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Right? At that point, your dog is just a biter.
Your dog bites.
And it's a German Shepherd.
Oh, that reminds me. I think it was Larry and Lavana. But I could be wrong about that. But anyway, so two people that we used to go to church with, they were on a walk, and there was a dog coming up to him, and the owner was like, oh, she doesn't bite, or he doesn't bite, or he doesn't bite, because it was like pulling to get to him and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was Lavana that was like, oh, well, dogs are sweet, and like put her hand down and then got bit. Like immediately, just like boom, bit, and then Larry was like, "Well, I guess you can't say that anymore."
I mean, yeah, because like I understand her thought process because I've seen dogs that are just like nipping at the bud, like trying to get to you.
Nipping at the bit.
No, nipping at the bud right now.
No,
because they're not biting.
Completely
the bud.
different.
No, they're not biting their bit. Okay, the bit's in their mouth. They're not doing that.
Yeah, but that's
Anyways, the point is. They are desperately trying to get to you, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, and then the owner's like, it doesn't bite. It's just really likes people. And and then the dog is just wanting to meet you. Yeah. And so you're like, hey,
usually
buddy.
It's the kind of dog that when it gets to you, then it starts being like, I want to jump up on you.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, play with me. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
But then
it turns out that one's just like, no, I want to get there because I'm going to bite him.
I want that meat.
See, that's the thing too, is everyone thinks that their dog doesn't bite because their dog doesn't bite them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, why, my dog doesn't bite. Yeah, because it loves you and it's been with you and it's protecting you.
Yeah, like it sees someone new. At this point, it's like, I'm going to bite that random person if they get too close.
Yeah, I might need to bite them. They might attack.
I mean, because dogs follow the whole pack mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's
that.
not part of my pack.
Yeah, and so like you become, I know like Nova definitely thinks herself as the alpha in that house. She probably
absolutely.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Like to an extent, I'll give Dylan that he does definitely.
I don't know. I think Nova's the alpha.
He still definitely puts his foot down when necessary.
True.
So like she gets the run of the house until she does something stupid. Then he's like, all right, check this out.
Yeah.
And so like, but. With the pack mentality, the alpha is the one that generally is the one that instigates the fight. Or initiates. I won't say instigates. They initiate the fight. Because they're like, I'm going to protect whoever's behind me, whoever is in my pack. So they're the ones who come to the front and they bite. The other ones will come in afterwards. Like the betas and whatever. So like, I just don't get why everyone thinks that their dog, unless they wear the pants, which most people don't, because they just let their little precious fur baby run around.
Fur babies. Oh my god, and dog moms and fur babies. Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it so much.
I do too.
I'm looking at you.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
But anyways, like, yeah, why do people actually care about having their animals so? It's an animal. You don't need to protect it. It'll protect itself. Mm-hmm. Like I get protecting it if it's like a pup or a kitten or like just something small that has a higher chance of getting.
I mean, my puppy just lives outside. I don't even feed it.
It's probably dead.
I don't give it water or feed it. When it rains, there's plenty of puddles.
Oh. I mean, it's an animal, so that's fine. I'm nasted by the thought of, like, imagine a human walking outside and oh, this tastes delicious.
Yeah, so good. But that's what, so it hunts for its food. Got to catch the squirrels and stuff, and then if it does, it gets to eat.
Keeps it well exercised. And that's another thing. We overfeed our animal.
A lot of people do. I want to just come to the defense of
a few people.
A few people. I don't know everybody. I just for certain. Jennifer. Yeah, I think it was Jennifer. Gosh, brain fart.
That name means nothing to me. So continue.
Yeah, Michael and Jen. I think that's right.
Still means nothing to me.
Huh. I feel bad because I'm like, I don't know if I actually am remembering the name right.
Okay, but who cares?
Well,
What about
I do.
them?
I do, but the thing is, I want to defend her and say that she was regimented with taking care of her animals. That they didn't overeat, and they were all extremely healthy, and none of them were overweight. Like, her dogs were well maintained.
Okay.
So I got to give her.
Yeah, and there are those people though that genuinely care. I say genuinely because I feel like if you actually cared, you would go out of your way to do those proper steps. Like, and just be, instead of being like, it's my baby, and then you like, they have kids and they have like all this other stuff, and then you look at the kids. And I'm not saying bad parenting by any means, okay, but like, I think it's important to put your kid on some sort of like regulated system.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You do
it's
this,
good for the kid.
Exactly, and you do the same thing with your dog. You do the same thing with your cat. Like, cats are a lot harder. Don't get me wrong, which is probably why I like cats, because they're just straight dicks, and they just you look at them and you're like, do these things, and that cat's like, nah, screw you, man. Yeah. And like, the only way to really train a cat is to give it food leading up to the task. Essentially, you gotta like trail it.
You gotta bribe cats.
Yeah.
Bribe them until they.
Because they're not dogs. Dogs will walk up and be like, "What are you wanting me to do?" And then you're like, "Do this thing," and it's like, "I don't understand it, but I'm following your hand and doing whatever. I'm trying to figure out what you're doing." Because then once they do it, you're like, "Oh, yay!" And then they live for that excitement.
Yeah. Actually, I read an article that physical. Like petting your dog and stuff like that is what gives it the positive reinforcement more than anything else. Is because like you can verbally be like yeah, and they're like, oh, I'm excited, I'm glad you're happy. But if you pet them and stuff, they're like, yes, this was worth it. I will always listen to you.
That's silly.
Yeah, it's how dogs are.
Because like, oh no, you do that with a cat, and they're just gonna be like, they don't care. Even with the petting, they don't really care.
Usually, it seems like they don't like it.
Well, because people pet cats wrong.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
You have to.
Why didn't the puppy get him?
There's a squirrel. Dude, we saw this. I almost called it blackface squirrel. It's a black fox squirrel. I think is what it's called.
Okay.
I had to look it up because Zach and I were driving, and I look over at this squirrel. It's just jet black with
I've never seen a squirrel.
with a white nose. And like, I think the tips of its ears are white.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, what is that? Because it looks like it was pretty big too. It looked kind of like a cat. And then I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh wait, that's a squirrel. Because then I saw its tail do the weird little curl thing, and then it jump up and like run like a squirrel.
Yeah, but, okay, I've never. Yeah, all right.
And that was blowing my mind.
So it was like the colors of a skunk.
Yes, but it didn't have the white tail. Right. It's just its face is white.
Though.
Yeah, like no, just literally, it's jet black, white right here, and then the tip of its ears.
Oh, like a white muzzle.
Yeah, and that's it. That was it. And I was like, that's the craziest squirrel. And I'm pretty sure when I looked up, it said black fox squirrel. And because I've seen our standard North American squirrels, which are the one that just ran through your yard just now, and like
the brown gray.
Yeah, squirrels, it's like those are apparently the most common, but
yes.
there are those squirrels in like places like North Carolina, South Carolina, Delaware, Maryland.
I didn't know that.
And I was like, I've just never seen those squirrels. Washington, like, there's just they exist. They're just not common. They're weird.
Interesting. Yeah, didn't know that.
But yeah, no, blowing my mind nonetheless. The animal problem though is literally people should never have animals. I know we've had this conversation before.
Oh, we have. Yes, we have, and we got some hate for it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that hate because like
we got some hate for it.
I just don't feel like people appropriately appreciate the animal for what it is. Like, I'm not a dog person. In the sense that I would like a dog.
From my understanding, most people that own animals, it's because they're lonely. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good enough reason to own a dog. You now own this thing, and you know.
Freaking love that song.
Just
sorry.
It's fine. It's a really simple point. It's just that I don't think that that's a good enough reason to now enslave a creature.
Because it should be wild, free. Go have fun. Yeah. Now, granted, I don't want it to be like.
I also don't want packs of wild
that's
dogs
what I was saying. Was it Australia?
Yeah. Well, they have dingoes, right? But those are basically dogs. They're just bigger, I think.
Yeah. I thought they were closer to like. What is it in Lion King? Hyenas.
Hyenas?
Yeah, I thought that was closer to. I thought dingoes were closer to hyenas.
Well, I mean, we do have wild dogs. We have coyotes.
Yeah, we do have coyotes. Mm-hmm. And you know what?
I haven't seen one in years.
I respect them from a distance. Yeah, because it's like, it's a wild dog running around doing its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go mess with it because that wild dog is still a wild animal.
Yeah, it's not domesticated.
Yeah. It's like,
but I haven't seen a coyote in years. But they're around here.
Yeah, they're definitely around.
Seen them in forever.
But that's what I'm getting at. Is like, if we just let dogs run wild like they should be, one, we probably wouldn't see as many of them, and there wouldn't be so many different freaking breeds because we are the reason there are tons of different breeds of dogs.
Mm-hmm. My dad he showed me some website, I forget what it's called though, but where it was old photos of the same breed of dog, how different they look now.
So drastically different.
Because even in the past, I think it was just like 80 years or something, like all of them have changed. Like none of the dogs, even like the purebreds, don't even look the same anymore.
So are they purebreds?
Yeah.
Or are they purebreds? They look different because of the inbreeding that happens on a consistent basis with purebreeding?
Yeah, I guess that's where it would come from. Or it's the fact that it's the same way, like, because they might be pureblood, but it still matters which male and female you take. Because if you take ones that are slightly different, then eventually they're going to just be different.
And just continuously, like, you're like, oh, I like the color of this one and the color of this one, and start mixing it and hoping.
And it's pureblood, but you've now made it's a different version
You've
of that
given
dog.
a higher chance of its genetic code to be passed on, especially if you want white ones, like where you're like the white furred dogs, which I just don't feel like is a common thing. Like, because it's like an albino animal. If you see a pure white of an animal, it's usually albino.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so, because I mean, that's what the Siberian, the white tigers are. They're just albinos. They're not actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
They're not a true breed of tigers.
But someone found them and was like, I like that.
I like the way those look.
Them.
I was like, so at that point, you're just continuing that genetic deformity down the line. I mean, what did they do for the pugs, like to get them that snout noise? They're always like, you're like, what's wrong with that animal?
I don't know, but those are a.
They just sound like they're dying on a consistent basis.
No, they have breathing issues because their muzzles shouldn't be that short. It's not good for them. No. But we breed them because we like the way they look, but they're dying.
And again, this is why I think people that are huge animal lovers, or that claim to be animal lovers and love dogs and cats and all this stuff, it's like, you are monsters, okay?
Yes.
You guys want these...
You're preaching to the choir.
You guys want these things. And so because you love the way it looks or acts, you're going to keep messing with its nature so you get what you have.
I love dogs. I absolutely love dogs. They're the best.
Dude, I actually hate dogs.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I love dogs. But you're still a monster if you own them.
No, I hate dogs because of the fact that they just stay consistently too in my face.
Well, when they get older, they don't. When they get old, they usually just are like, I'm going to go lay over here now.
I don't know, man. Gunner got old, and he walks over to me. If I go over to that house, he's like, I'm going to go lay over here. Over here being your lap. I am a 170-pound dog, and I'm just going to lay on your lap.
That's a beefy dog.
It's like, no, man. You can't just be here. I need to move and do stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen me, but I don't bench press my weight, okay?
Yeah. Dude, and Einstein's great, though. I like Einstein.
Oh, Einstein, I love him. He's fantastic. He'll sit in the car sometimes, or all the time. I'm really shocked. I'm like, does that dog have a bladder or like have to go poo ever? Because like we'll take him to work, and not to be confused and think that my brother is like abusing this dog. Not at all. That dog loves it in that freaking car. I don't understand it.
Oh, dude, my dad's told me like he doesn't even do nearly the same thing. But if his job's fast enough, he loves to come.
Yeah.
He's like, please let me go with you, and I'll sit in the car.
And like, well, that's what Heine does, and he'll just sit there in the car, and you'll see him sitting in the driver's seat, looking like mean mugging people because the way his eyebrows are, they just look like he's angry. He's like, I was like, I love it because like he'll just stare at you as you walk by the car door, and then be like, "Hey, guy," and you're like, "Oh, hi." Then he goes back to staring into whatever he's staring at.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just looking around, making sure no problems come up.
Dude, seriously, because I've caught that dog staring into oblivion like a human. Just like, because there's nothing in the distance, or maybe there is, and his eyes are just way better than mine, and he's seeing whatever's way out there.
What do your elf eyes see?
He's just like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I've scared him because of that. Whatever he was looking at, like, because I walked up, he's like, What were you?
Oh, it's just you. Okay.
Yeah, what were you
Whoa.
looking at, dude? But anyways, yeah, that was about it. My rant on animal cruelty is over.
Yeah, you think we should stop there then?
Yeah, we could probably stop
That was
here.
a good week.
Yeah. Good week to say hi. Love you guys. Listen to us chatter about cruelty.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah. Commenting is actually the most important thing you can do for the YouTube algorithm. So please leave us a comment.
Oh, well, I honestly think you should just comment for our sake. I don't even care about the algorithm. Let us know how we're doing. If we're doing terrible, please say so. If we're doing amazing, please tell me what you want to hear of.
I would like to say that you know what we need to do?
Sell Coke.
Next episode. Next episode, I think we should go back and answer all the YouTube questions.
Do we?
All the comments.
Do we actually have that video?
Yeah, we've got enough that it would take us a minute.
Okay, I'm down to
Why
do
don't
that.
we do that?
I can pull it up.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Well,
yeah.
Okay, next week we're gonna take your questions and comments in the next episode.
And very aggressively answer them.
Which we will not be answering questions from the last 4 or 5 shows because this is months down the road.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Every couple months we'll answer a couple questions.